Joining us right now is Banking Committee Ranking Member Senator Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania. Senator, welcome. Let's talk about these moves. This is not a new movie. We have seen this played before, this risk of not raising the debt limit. It does come at the consternation of bondholders. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the Business Roundtable, business leaders are pretty upset about this. They don't like to see this wrangling around this. It's kind of a stupid procedural issue. We know that it will get worked out just before or just after that cliff. I don't understand why we go through this wrangling every year other than just to make a political point.
Well, I think the markets tell us just how worried and how much we should be setting our hair on fire. The markets have been through this. And look, as you pointed out at the top of the hour, equity markets have almost fully recovered from, maybe they have fully recovered if you look at the futures this morning. Look, here's the reason why I think it's actually a good idea to force this exercise. We have a spending problem in America. The federal government does, that is. Our Democratic colleagues are determined to make it much, much worse. In past decades, it was always the issue of the debt ceiling, focusing Congress on the need to borrow still more money, that led us to fiscal deals, going all the way back to Reagan and O'Neill's deal on Social Security and George H.W. Bush's deal with Democrats, which included a tax increase, Bill Clinton's deal. Even with Barack Obama in 2011 and Republicans, it was over the debt ceiling that we agreed we would create a super committee and try to go at the real fundamental long-term fiscal problem we have, which is entitlement programs growing too rapidly. And if we couldn't get a solution in that committee, and I know because I was on that committee, then we would put pretty draconian caps on discretionary spending. My point is, this has been a moment where we have, on both sides of the aisle, come together and said, what are we doing to get our fiscal house in order? I've long argued that we should tie an increase in the debt ceiling to curbing the rate of growth of these entitlement programs, which are out of control. They're growing too fast. Not only can I not have that conversation, there's not a Democrat in the Senate that's even willing to engage on this idea. Not only that, they're about to launch all kinds of new entitlement programs for the middle class to the tune of trillions of dollars. So if they really want to go in that direction, they can provide the votes to raise the debt ceiling that will provide the borrowing that they are going to drive. You know,
I get it, but
it's an inconvenient.
It sounds at the end like it's procedural, it's politics, it's a way of doing what you can within the rules when you're not in the majority. And trust me, I realize this is the slimmest majority in 150 years. You're talking about a very evenly split Senate and House.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think there's an important distinction that we should make here, Becky. It is true that the more you spend, the more you have to borrow. They want to go on a very dangerous, unprecedented, irresponsible spending spree. It will require tremendous borrowing. I don't want to be part of that. It's going to be really bad for America. And they don't need us. They've got the votes to do it. Chuck Schumer could do it this afternoon if he wanted to without a single Republican. It's not subject to a filibuster. We couldn't stop it if we wanted to. So it's a little rich for them to be, setting their hair on fire with how disastrous this will be when at any moment they could completely prevent it.
This note from the Treasury secretaries, it was not just Democrats. I saw Hank Paulson's name on there. I noticed that Stephen Mnuchin was missing from the list of
and all the others were Democrats.
Yeah.
And look, the Treasury has a plan to prioritize in the extremely unlikely event that we didn't raise the debt ceiling. They don't like to talk about it because it's very inconvenient. It's not optimal. But my point is, if it's so bad, why haven't the Democrats done this already? They've got the votes. There's nothing. We couldn't stop them if we wanted to.